A very good evening and thank you for joining us on today's episode of News at 8 here on Church of Uganda Family TV. My name is Philip Buliisa and I am with Winnie Buliisa Nakauchi for sign language interpretation. We take a look at the top stories and certainly we do return with the news in details.
Headlines brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977.
In our weekend edition, Ministry of Education and Sports validate competence-based training curriculum, 600 refugee and host community members to benefit from skills training as Uganda Skills Development Project targets livelihoods and self-reliance.
So we are validating and aligning the curricula that are existing that can be used for this intervention, which is only 28 months. We are targeting 200 trainees per institution.
While more trained health workers in HIV counseling needed, stakeholders urge as Medical Research Council experts promote group therapy for youth living with HIV.
Together with fellow peers, you can keep each other motivated, encouraged, but also you can learn from what everyone else is doing.
And in international news, Hunter virus outbreak. Hunter virus hit cruise ship heads for Canary Islands to evacuate infected passengers.
brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977.
Once again, thank you so much for joining us on News at 8 this evening. And starting us off, the Ministry of Education and Sports has intensified efforts to equip refugees and host communities with a practical, market-driven skills through Uganda Skills Development Project. Stakeholders now validate the modified competence-based training curriculum aimed at strengthening technical and vocational training in refugee host communities. We take a look at this report.
As Uganda continues to host large refugee populations, government is increasingly focusing on skills development as a pathway to self-reliance and economic inclusion for both refugees and host communities. To strengthen the capacity of TVET institutions in refugee hosting districts, the Ministry of Education and Sports is implementing the Uganda Skills Development Project for refugees and host communities under the competence-based training framework. As part of the implementation process, stakeholders gathered for a validation workshop to review the modified competence-based training curriculum and ensure it responds to labor market demands and community needs. According to David Mobiru Ruyima, the project will support 200 training opportunities at Inde Skills Development Center in Madokoro, Omuga Skills Development Center in Terego, and Buhunjiro Skills Development Center in Sinjiro. The program is expected to benefit a total of 600 refugees and host community members under a 28-month initiative valued at $8.9 million.
In the Rhino camp, we have one called Inde Skills Development Center and Terego called Omugo Skills Development Center. These are our existing TVET institutions. They've been existing, but we are now enhancing them to manage a project of 28 months. So we are validating and aligning the curricula that are existing that can be used for this intervention, which is only 28 months. We are targeting 200 trainees per institution. The total project sum is $8.9 million.
Under the project, trainees will acquire practical skills in crop and animal husbandry, agricultural value addition, and other market-driven competencies identified through a national needs assessment.
Reference was made to the needs assessment conducted. We discovered that almost 80 or 85% of the economic activities in these districts is agriculture. But also reference is made to the National Development Plan, is why we are going to give skills in agriculture, crop husbandry, animal husbandry, value addition in agriculture.
The main component right now is value addition, agro-processing and value addition. That under each of the agricultural components, we are adding an element of value addition. If you are producing rabbits, you are being equipped with meat processing. And if you process the meats of rabbits, you can package it, brand it, and sell it to the market and get money.
The program will also provide training in ICT, marketing, entrepreneurship and interpersonal communication to improve livelihood opportunities and strengthen resilience among beneficiaries. Officials said the training is designed to equip refugees and host communities with practical abilities needed to address everyday economic challenges and improve household incomes.
This is a grant from the World Bank, and it was very specific. That's the reason why this intervention is in these refugees and host communities. TVET is diverse. It's not one trainer for everything. We need specialized trainers. This project is going to intervene as far as trainers in agriculture is concerned. We have it as a component.
Giving other skills, including livelihood skills, somebody should be able to know to handle life challenges. There are people with stress, as we understand with refugee issues. So there are issues with how can I manage stress management. We will offer skills also in ICT, marketing, entrepreneurship. All those are packaged within. And the World Bank is adding us a component of, they are calling them modern skills.
Kemigisha further emphasized the importance of stakeholder engagement in ensuring the successful implementation of the project and aligning training programs with community priorities.
From the inception, even up to this point, whatever has been presented in this stakeholder engagement workshop, it is their mind, not an individual mind. Because they say two heads are better than one. This is their brain. We have world of work. We have people from the leaders from the refugee communities. We have leaders from the local communities of the refugee host communities. We also have district leaders. We have Ministry of Education officials. We have UVTAP, to mention but a few.
With a strong focus on market-driven and livelihood skills, the Uganda Skills Development Project is expected to promote self-reliance, strengthen resilience, and create sustainable economic opportunities for refugees and host communities across the country.
Now, mental health experts from the Medical Research Council Uganda are encouraging the use of group support psychotherapy to help young people living with HIV overcome depression, stigma, and emotional distress. The researchers say group-based counseling has proven effective in helping young people rebuild confidence, return to school, and engage in productive activities. We'll take a look at the detail of what this is.
For many young people living with HIV, the emotional burden of stigma, isolation, and anxiety remains a major challenge alongside treatment and medication.
As you can, and fill the world in the name of the Lord. Amen.
Now researchers from the Medical Research Council Uganda say group support psychotherapy is helping many young people regain hope and improve their mental well-being. The research, which began nearly 10 years ago, found that people experiencing mental health challenges respond better when supported in group settings where they can freely share experiences and encourage one another.
We came to Buliisa because the member of our team, the member with lived experience in our team, she was based in Buliisa. She had her foundation, Buliisa Foundation, already engaging young people as peer supporters to support persons HIV/AIDS with other aspects of health. So we came to Buliisa because she was a member of our team and this is where she was based. But depression is a problem that is countrywide. 1 in 4 people are affected with depression.
Barbara Kemigisha, one of the young people living with HIV participating in the program, says they were organized into youth groups of about 10 members and trained on how to support one another despite living with the virus.
So today we are doing a group support psychotherapy dissemination workshop here in Buliisa City, where we are telling people what were our findings about engaging young people living with HIV in group support psychotherapy as a first-line treatment to mental health disorders like depression, anxiety, but also teaching them the different coping skills, because we all know when people are stressed, They go in for different things that they think can help them cope, only to realize that they only come back the next day with depression, like alcoholism. Some people decide to sleep around, others take drugs.
He says the support groups have helped many participants regain confidence, return to school, and start vocational and income-generating activities.
Telling young people that, together with fellow peers, you can keep each other motivated, encouraged, but also you can learn from what everyone else is doing. For example, young people were able to discover that you may think you are young, only to realize that your age mate or even someone younger is paying their own school fees to keep in school. That challenges the other young people to feel like, oh, I don't have to look at things that are failing me. I can also push myself to achieve my dreams. We've seen children who have their own projects like chicken rearing. You find a child has 10 birds. 10 birds may not seem to be a lot, but actually they have used these 10 birds to buy books, to pay for their school fees installment, but also to meet their personal goals.
Lead researcher Professor Etheldrida Nachimuri says that the program discovered effective counseling approaches by bringing together people living with HIV to openly discuss their experiences and challenges.
If you received group HIV education, you are more likely to stay depressed 6 months later. Meaning that group support psychotherapy was much stronger in reducing depression. If you had low social support in the beginning, you live alone. There is no one to talk to, no one to come to your aid. Those kinds of people also took long to recover.
Professor Nachimuri, however, says that there is still need for government to train more health workers in modern counseling approaches to improve mental health support for people living with HIV across the country.
The findings from this research indicate that we should change the way we are training our health workers. We should train our health workers to acquire skills that can help people recover from depression. That will help us in such a way that someone who has depression does not have to go to a specialist, because these specialists are very few in our country.
Meanwhile, young people benefiting from the program say the support groups have played a major role in helping them overcome fear, depression, and stigma associated with HIV.
When we look into statistics, young people, 1 in every 3 has depression, making it more difficult. Because when you look at young people living with HIV, they're affected with many things, stigma, they have denial, there is discrimination, they're dealing with a lot, the medicine they take daily, so depression is really affecting them.
Researchers now believe strengthening community-based mental health support could significantly improve the quality of life for younger people living with HIV while encouraging treatment adherence and social inclusion. Julius Mhomza, Church of Uganda Family TV, News at 8.
Equity Bank Uganda has hit yet another milestone in youth leadership development after commissioning 100 scholars into the 5th cohort of the Equity Leaders Program, while also celebrating the graduation of 81 students from the Pioneer 2022 cohort. Our reporter Emmanuel Alingai was at African Bible University, and certainly we do take a look at what he compiled. At the African Bible University in Lubowa, excitement and celebration filled the auditorium as 100 top senior 6 graduates were officially inducted into the 5th cohort of the Equity Leaders Program. The new scholars now join more than 400 previous beneficiaries under the Equity Leadership and Mentorship Initiative. The event also celebrated 81 graduates from the Pioneer 2022 cohort who have completed university studies in disciplines including engineering, law, statistics, and other professional fields. Speaking during the ceremony, Dr. Joan Corril, the Director of Operations at Equity Group Foundation, described the program as a transformative initiative equipping young people with practical exposure, leadership skills, and opportunities to contribute to national development.
So today, we're proud to commission a new cohort of young, talented, and driven scholars. It is because you represent a generation that will carry forward the vision of transforming our society through leadership grounded on integrity, innovation, and service.
Equity Group Foundation representative Sam Boya urged the scholars to uphold integrity, selflessness, discipline, and excellence as future leaders.
Is this conviction that it is possible? You've shared the challenges, you've shared the hardships, and they did not stop you. That deep down, you've all believed, yes, if you can work on something, give it 100%, have a dream, give it 100%, no matter what the challenges. And many of you have come here and said, we did not want to be limited by the situations that we went through. You rose above that. And I want to congratulate again each and every one of you.
The Executive Director of Equity Bank Uganda, Clever Serumaga, explained that the program combines intensive leadership coaching with practical placements across Equity Bank branches to expose scholars to the corporate environment.
Today we're graduating our fifth cohort of the Equity Leadership Program. This program has been running for the last 5 years. Right now we've just graduated 100 students. These 100 students are some of the top performers at the last USCE exams. They are in their senior 6 vacation. They're going into university. We get them when they're still very young, and we take them through a 7-day program of leadership coaching and mentoring. But we also send them out to our branches, give them an opportunity to experience working before they start university.
He added that some scholars have been secured scholarships at leading international universities, including Harvard and New York University, while others continue receiving mentorship and career guidance through the university chapter program in Uganda.
Even at university, we continue working with them. We work with them throughout and support them to get other university scholarships across the world. As we speak, we have 15 students who are in top league schools across the world. We have a student who you've listened to today who is in Harvard University. We have 2 students in New York University. We have a couple of students in Canada.
Catherine Sogen, Director of Public Sector and Social Investment at Equity Bank Uganda, said the program intentionally targets top-performing students from districts where the bank operates with the aim of nurturing transformative leaders.
The program that we've launched today, the Cohort 5 commissioning, is under my responsibility. I am a proud parent. I feel like a very proud parent for having launched the 5th cohort of the Equity Leaders Program. And also seeing our first cohort graduating, it gives me so much pride to show you that, they are not only, students from rich families or, top families in the country. Last year, in the cohort 4, we had a student from the refugee camps. And he was one of those that excelled under the hardship that he operated in with his parents and joined one of the global universities. So we are very proud of some of those achievements that these students are demonstrating. And as they come up into the working arena, we continue working closely with them.
The chief guest, Patrick Muinda, Commissioner for Library, E-Learning and Information Technology at the Ministry of Education and Sports, commended Equity Bank for investing in youth mentorship and leadership development. He encouraged scholars to remain disciplined, protect their character, and pursue sustainable growth.
To the scholars, allow me to leave you with this message as I wind up. Remain disciplined, stay grounded, protect your character as fiercely as you pursue your ambition.
Kenya Christabel. I'm part of the ELP Cohort 5. Being part of this program has been very impactful. It has been life-changing. I have gotten to view the world in a very different perspective from what I used to view it as. We have interacted with various speakers this week and they have been really inspirational to us.
Is Sebufu Saulo Bisenj. I'm so privileged to be given this opportunity by Equity Bank, and I'm looking forward to excelling in this internship. We've indeed gained much, especially us who are from less privileged families, that we are in position to reach at a certain level where we are not as of now.
Over the past 5 years, the Equity Leaders Program has supported more than 500 young Ugandans through leadership training, mentorship, financial literacy, and practical experiences, helping bridge the gap between academic excellence and real-world impact. Story compiled by Manuel Alengai for Church of Uganda Family TV, News at 8. beautiful cultural dances. Thank you, Emmanuel Alingai, for that beautiful report. Now, the Fellowship of Christian Unions, commonly known as FOCUS, has held its annual general meeting in Kampala, bringing together members and stakeholders to review the organization's progress, discuss governance reforms, and outline future plans for ministry in universities and colleges across Uganda. We do take a look at this gathering.
The newspaper in one hand.
Members and stakeholders of the Fellowship of Christian Unions gathered today at the organization's head offices in Kampala for the annual general meeting aimed at strengthening leadership, fellowship, and ministry outreach. The meeting reviewed the organization's achievements, governance structures, and future direction as FOCUS continues expanding its ministry among students in universities and tertiary institutions across the country. Speaking during the meeting, the chairperson of the National Governing Council, Honorable Alfred Edakasi Elalu, said discussions focused on key governance matters intended to strengthen the effective management and growth of the organization. He revealed that members resolved to extend the tenure of board members from 2 years to 6 years in order to promote continuity and stable leadership within the fellowship.
We have decided that members on the board should stay at least 3 to 6 years as opposed to 2 years. Because then they can support the development of especially infrastructure. Construction of houses and things like that take long, so you need to have a governance structure that allows longevity in leadership. But also we have agreed that all our Christian unions, the leaders there must be trained, because our structure is such that from any Christian union, if you go to Makerere, you'd like the Christian union student leader of the care group to be trained, the Christian Union chairperson and his committee to be trained.
Edakasi also highlighted the organization's ongoing STEM program, saying it is helping equip young people with practical skills while promoting value of integrity, accountability, and responsible leadership.
You know, our country is challenged by corruption, and corruption has crippled very many good things that government is doing. You know that corruption is not an academic issue. If it was a curriculum against corruption, it would not still solve the corruption issue, because the corruption issue is more the issue of the heart and the mindset. So we are hoping that we can work, if we transform young people through this one-year program, they can go back and make a difference in government, in all these entities, all these MDAs of government where they will be working. So it was a joy to see the churches that are here, and indeed our members, agree to that and want to step forward to see that we are doing a lot more.
The chief guest and IFS Regional Secretary Zilalema Bebe commended FOCUS leadership for its commitment to nurturing students in Christian faith, leadership, and moral values.
Have been there for many years. They passed through many difficult ups and downs. Now it's time for them to peak. They are in growing stage now, so I wish them to get into establishing movement level. In IFS we divide national movements in different levels. So my wish, my dream for FOCUS Uganda is to be one of the established movement in my region. So the leadership is doing very well, the GS is doing very well. So I pray for them and I encourage to go forward.
FOCUS Secretary General Patrick Buliisa highlighted several achievements registered in 2025, noting the continued growth and expanding impact of the organization's ministry among students.
We have seen growth in the students' ministry, particularly with the support of the STEM program, growth in the missions, training and evangelism endeavors by the students, growth in the associates ministry rather, where you've seen associates area committees coming up, and then the regional associates committees coming up, Arua having a new committee, Masaka forming a new committee, and then smaller area committees. I think the other thing that has come out in 2025 is the urge to develop our assets, and now we have approvals from all the bodies, the board and even the trustees, and we give thanks to God for that.
Buliisa, however, also acknowledged challenges affecting the organization's operations and ministry work.
Is that our incomes are growing, but the ministry is equally growing. And so that is a huge challenge, and it calls for concerted effort by not just the staff, but by associates, by partners, to see how do we hit a break-even between the students and even the incomes that are coming through. The second challenge, which is a good challenge again, is that lots of demand, especially by the churches, to say, come and help us disciple your associates that are in the churches. And with the lean staff of about 15 to the number of churches that are calling us, that also calls for re-awareness and also going out to find more staff to journey with us.
Founded in 1972, the Fellowship of Christian Unions is an evangelical and interdenominational Christian organization committed to sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ and preparing students for servant leadership in society. Now, because we are the Church of Uganda Family TV, with us is the courtesy to listen to the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda giving us spiritual nourishment every other day, and certainly this is the Archbishop's moment.
Archbishop's Moment, sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now. And
St. John's Wakiso Secondary School, where faith meets education.
The mind, the mouth, and your moods. Moods. Our moods are very important. Ministers, our moods. Not every time that you are called as a minister to be annoyed. How do you control your moods? Some other people, they can use the pulpit for fighting and quarreling. The moods. You know, your maturity is recognized very well when you are annoyed. When you are annoyed, don't write any letter to somebody. When you are annoyed, don't respond back. Actually, when I am annoyed myself, that's when I keep quiet and pray in order to have my mood. Even when I'm chairing meetings, there are some people in meetings and people know it. People you chair meetings, there are those who are, now the only way to disorganize him is to say this. Then you get a, you can destroy your ministry by not tempering your moods. Tell your neighbor moods. Very, very important.
Archbishop's Moment, sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now. And
St. John's Wakiso Secondary School, where faith meets education.
The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, the Most Reverend Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, in there teaching and reminding us of how to manage our emotions, but also cautioning us against acting and taking actions when we're in the extreme of our emotions. That is when we are very annoyed or extremely happy, because this is a prescription for disaster in whatever decisions we are taking at this moment. And because we are the Church of Uganda Family TV, and certainly we work within the best of the emotion and we take it at the very best decision making point, we do take a very short break and we will be right back, even in better modes, to deliver the rest of the news to you. Welcome back from that short break. It is news at 8 here on Church of Uganda Family TV. My name is Philip Buliisa and I am with Winnie Buliisa Nakauchi for sign language interpretation now. As the journey towards the Uganda Martyrs Day continues, today we reflect on the life of Robert Munyanga, a devoted Christian whose commitment to teaching and spreading the faith remained unwavering even in the face of death. A member of the church council, Munyanga was arrested while instructing young boys into Christianity, choosing to remain calm and steadfast as others fled into safety. We do take a look at this. Now, questions continue to emerge over delayed completion of a public project in Buliisa district, with local leaders and residents raising concerns of alleged procurement irregularities, poor contract management, and delayed service delivery. District officials have, however, dismissed claims linking the project to conflict of interest and insist works will be completed within the next 2 months. We take a look at this story.
Concerns over delayed government projects continue to surface in different parts of the country, with local leaders increasingly demanding accountability over public funds and stored infrastructure works. In Buliisa district, leaders and residents are now questioning the management of the district project that has remained incomplete despite substantial funding reportedly already released to the contractors. Some local leaders allege that the delayed project was awarded under questionable circumstances, with claims that civil servants within the district influence procurement processes and benefit from contracts awarded to preferred companies. The allegations have particularly centered on Martyrs Engineering Limited, a company previously contracted to execute the project. When contacted, Buliisa District Procurement Officer Ronald Wilfred Kasaija dismissed allegations linking him to ownership of Martyrs Engineering Limited, insisting he could not award the contract to himself. Kasaija further revealed that the district leaders recently had a meeting with officials from the Inspectorate of Government to discuss the matter, assuring the public that the project will be completed within 2 months.
The problem is being solved. I think give it 2 months, they will have completed that. We will start with the contractor, with IGG contractor, and the agreed. So within 2 months, you come back and visit the project. It will have got solved. Castor have answered you now. Don't ask me many questions. I've told you I'm not a contractor.
Meanwhile, Buliisa Chief Administrative Officer Professor Revi Musinguzi confirmed that the district has terminated the contract of Martyrs Engineering Limited due to the delayed works and had since engaged another contractor to complete the project. Musinguzi also rejected allegations that the company belonging to the district procurement officer, maintaining that the district followed due process before terminating the contract. He added that the newly appointed contractor is expected to complete the structure by June 30th this year.
We went into an alternative dispute resolution meeting with the former contractor, Batland, and the Office of Inspectorate of Government, and we resolved to terminate his contract and bring in a new contract. As they talk, the contractor is mobilizing to complete what was not complete. So I hope by 30th of June I will have those projects completed. That is force. I met the contractor personally. He's not Kasaija. He has another name. He's a Uganda boy. Actually, Uganda man. I'm sorry to call him a boy.
Local leader Tomusime has now appealed to both district and central government leaders to intervene and ensure the structure is completed without further delay, noting that some district equipment is currently occupying office and council hall space due to unfinished project.
The office of RDC, together with the office of Chairperson LOC5 and the CAO of Buliisa district, they should intervene and should at least make sure, but they should make sure they assist us to compile the contractor to come and complete this structure so that we can provide LC services to our community.
Although district officials continue to deny allegations of conflict of interest, multiple sources claim that some civil servants within the district have historically influenced the awarding of contracts for personal benefit.
So, as a chairperson of the sub-counter and secretary for Works and Technical Service, we took an initiative as sub-county and we came up with a write-up. I personally wrote to Chairperson LOC5 of Buliisa and copied to the RDC I hoped also to our members of parliament.
As investigations and public scrutiny continue, residents say the priority now should be ensuring accountability and completing the long-delayed project to improve service delivery in Buliisa district.
When you look at the time this project has taken vis-a-vis what is approximated, the budget that was planned to construct this, that is around 700 millions. It has taken almost what? 5 years.
And from Buliisa to Rukiga, the Speaker of Rukiga District Council, Oscar Kampulira, has officially dissolved the District Council following its final sitting at the district headquarters, bringing the 2021-2026 council term to a close as the district prepares for a new phase of leadership. We do take a look at what happened in Rukiga today.
The final council sitting marked the end of the 5 years of the leadership, debate and district oversight by the outgoing Rukiga District Council. Addressing the councillors during the session, Speaker Oscar Kampulira commended members for maintaining peace, cooperation and professionalism throughout their term of office.
Honorable members, before I bring this council to its conclusion, allow me to say thank you. Thank you for the 5 years of excellent partnership. Together we built the most peaceful council in the region. That was not by accident, it happened because each of you chose fairness.
He noted that under his leadership, all councillors were given equal opportunities to participate in discussions and decision-making processes. Kampulira also appreciated the resident district commissioner for the continued support offered to council and praised the outgoing district chairperson Robert Mbabazi for the guiding the district through what he described as a stable and progressive leadership period.
For having been available and for the parental guidance always offered. I want to appreciate the chairman LC5 for he led us very well. I want to appreciate the district for always being present. The cow and the entire technical team. I cannot repeat the words, but we are really.
In his farewell remarks, the district chairperson Robert Mbabazi thanked councillors, the chief administrative officer, heads of the departments and the technical staff for their cooperation since he assumed office in May 2021.
Mothers no longer travel long distances to deliver. Our ambulance system now responds under 1 hour. So when you simply call when there is an emergency, in the 5 years as the district chairperson, we have constructed 2 schools, leaving behind more.
Mbabazi, however, acknowledged the several challenges still facing the district, including the poor fiscal planning in town councils, unemployment and limited funding for the district programs and services.
For fiscal planning in town councils, I think for Muhanga, for them they have, but for town council, they don't have fiscal planning. So this brings about problems of alignment of the roads and buildings, which has led to the absence of walkways. 4, there is an increase in frequency of pests and diseases because of climate changes, leading to low yields and bad price fluctuations. 5, the district continues to experience a high burden of preventable and non-communicable diseases.
Speaking on behalf of the councillors, Godfrey Mokolo of Muhanga Town Council said leaders have remained committed to advocating for the welfare and development of the people of Rukiga throughout their term.
He said, or he quoted, we debated, we criticized fearlessly, but we always had that for the good of the council. So those who thought when we go outside there, we have problems, no, we are here and choosing to speak. Our role was to speak, our role was to debate for the good of this
district, Rukiga.
Mukulu thanked fellow councillors for their dedication and urged them to remain united and continue supporting the development of the district even outside the council chambers.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for not letting us down as a speaker. As the RDC said, you never fought battles that are not yours. You used your wisdom to manage us. We are the only council, I think, in the South Sahara, like Utovere.
Out of the 19 councillors who served in the outgoing council, only 6 are expected to retain their seats in the next term. They include Oscar Akamperera, Beatrice Asimwe, Eli Apomoza, Joseph Biesije, Ahmed Bedi, and Jacqueline Amukushaba. The transition marks a significant leadership shift as Rukiga district prepares for the new council term.
Now, as Uganda prepares for the swearing-in of President-elect Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, members of the Patriotic League of Uganda Diaspora Chapter have started arriving in the country to participate in the activities leading up to the national event. We will take a look at what the PLU is doing.
The group, composed of supporters of the Chief of Defence Forces, General Rukiga in Rugaba, first visited the Special Forces Command headquarters in Entebbe to express solidarity during celebrations marking the General's 52nd birthday. The delegation was led by Diaspora Chapter Coordinator Stephen Ruta, who said the charity activities were inspired by General Moses' call to support vulnerable communities as part of his birthday celebrations.
I came back to Uganda because we came to attend Mzee Museveni's swearing-in ceremony, and along the way we were here to honor General MK's birthday.
According to organizers, the activities were held under the theme Run for Charity, Run for Hope, and reportedly raised more than 1 billion shillings to support orphanages and vulnerable groups across the country. During the outreach of the Special Forces Command headquarters in Entebbe, members of the PLU diaspora donated hampers containing milk and other nutritional items to lactating mothers to support the health and well-being of their babies.
The theme for this year has been Run for Hope, Run for Charity. We chose as PLU members of the diaspora that we should give back to the community. We identified the groups of people that we thought would definitely need our support, and we chose to support the expectant mothers, the mothers themselves, and the babies of the mothers. We've decided to donate to different hospitals.
General Rukiga in Uganda was represented at the event by the Brigadier General Paul Namawa, the Chief of Staff of the Special Forces Command. As part of the post-birthday activities, the group also planted 52 trees in different parts of Entebbe in a campaign aimed at promoting environmental conservation and climate protection.
And we've also decided that along the way, in order to preserve the environment, that we should plant 52 trees, of which that will mark the significance of General MK's birthday. Here we are all working together. We are calling for unity from all other diaspora groups, that we should work together to join and make sure that our country can go forward.
Organizers say the outreach activities reflect a broader commitment to community support, environmental responsibility, and social solidarity ahead of the presidential swearing-in ceremonies.
Now, from across the seas, Spanish authorities on Friday were preparing to receive more than 140 passengers and crew members on board a hantavirus-stricken cruise ship headed for Canary Islands, where health officials have said they will perform careful evacuations. The vessel is expected to arrive Sunday at the Spanish island Tenerife, and the passengers will then be transported to the airport and flown back to their respective countries. We will take a look at this report.
The cruise ship hit by the hantavirus is expected to moor here, south of the Canary Islands, off the coast of this industrial port. Residents watching from ashore are feeling uneasy.
I don't like that the ship is going to arrive here in Tenerife. The incubation period is 6 weeks, not 1 or 2.
An evacuation operation is in the works. On Sunday, passengers will be evacuated in small groups, while the ship remains offshore.
Passengers will disembark onto a smaller shuttle boat to take them ashore. And from there, they will board a vehicle, probably a bus.
From the port, they'll be transferred to the airport around 10 minutes away. Passengers will then be repatriated to their countries by plane. There are still 150 passengers and crew members on board, including a French couple.
There's no panic on board. Everything is fine for us, as well as for the other 3 French people.
Also aboard is an American doctor on holiday.
Sort of fell into the role of becoming the ship doctor. One of them, just very non-specific symptoms, a lot of confusion and a lot of weakness, and she ultimately passed away relatively quickly.
Residents of the Canary Islands are increasingly worried, protesting to oppose the evacuation on their land.
And this brings us to the end of today's edition of News at 8 here on Church of Uganda Family TV. But before we close it out, we do take a look at the top stories once more.
Headlines brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977.
In our weekend edition, Ministry of Education and Sports validate competence-based training curriculum, 600 refugee and host community members to benefit from skills training as Uganda Skills Development Project targets livelihoods and self-reliance.
So we are validating and aligning the curricula that are existing that can be used for this intervention, which is only 28 months. We are targeting 200 trainees per institution.
While more trained health workers in HIV counseling needed, stakeholders urge as Medical Research Council experts promote group therapy for youth living with HIV.
Together with fellow peers, you can keep each other motivated, encouraged, but also you can learn from what everyone else is doing.
And in international news, hantavirus outbreak. Hantavirus hit cruise ship heads for Canary Islands to evacuate infected passengers.
Brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977.
And this marks the end of today's episode of News at 8. I do thank you so much for joining us today, and always and certainly with our obligation and commitment to always deliver the best of news from here at the heart of Kampala to you in whatever part of the world you are in. My name is Philip Buliisa, and I've been with Winnie Wiyinza for sign language interpretation. Special thanks to the team that has been a part of the bulletin, the production, transmission, the editor, and all the reporters that have contributed to the bulletin. A very good evening, and may you have freedom always.